What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Crypto Plebs channel. It's your boy Jumpman Crypto. Guys, I already know the deal. You know, a lot of people are kind of upset and they're not really too happy with this crypto cycle right now. You know, I don't want to come out here and just tell you guys the obvious. You know, crypto obviously has been pulling back, you know, and I know all feels lost, and I know a lot of people right now are just kind of getting ready to throw the towel in, you know, but I want to be the person to come out here and say, look, guys, you know, even if we do go into a bear market, you know, I think a lot of people are kind of like not understanding the situation and not understanding, you know, hey, the markets operate cycles. You know, I met a lot of people, you know, through Discords, and, you know, been able to connect with a lot of newer investors. And, you know, look, it's kind of the part where, you know, this is where we kind of got to face the music. I'm not calling for a bear market, but right now these are just some things that we should obviously be coming to terms with. You know, even if we are got one more leg up in the cycle, or, you know, we are headed into a bear market, eventually we will cross paths with this. And I think that, you know, look, we should all kind of, you know, get it inside our brains that, look, the end of this cycle could be maybe this year or next year, or maybe even 2027, maybe even 2028, who knows? But there will be a point where the show is over and you will have to either, you know, take profits or take some things on the chin and hopefully, you know, learn from your mistakes. You know, I think a lot of people are learning. Crypto influencers are very manipulative and sometimes very misleading with a lot of their titles. You know, one thing that I want to talk to you guys about is that, you know, look, when we started Plebs and when we started, you know, doing work with KGU, our whole main purpose was to teach and show you guys how to take care of yourselves and how to make sure that you guys are doing your own work. Plebs, you know, for the record, is always just going to be a channel where we can always come together, link together, and, you know, talk about different ideas and strategies. You know, I don't want everybody to, you know, rely on me. I've said this numerous times, guys, that, you know, my sole purpose here is just to teach you guys and, you know, be able to help you guys make your own decisions and never make decisions based off what anybody says, even your boy, you know. But like I said, guys, you know, there's going to be a time where the curtains are going to close. And, you know, look, I think that, you know, if this is towards the end of the cycle, or we are approaching our Titanic moment with Bitcoin, one thing that I do know for sure is that crypto will come back. It doesn't matter, you know, about Trump. It doesn't matter about Biden. It doesn't matter about any politician. Crypto will go on, and there will always be another pump. As long as you guys believe, and as long as you guys have some dry capital, the markets will always be here waiting for you. And if you guys just decide to pack up and move on, hey, I understand. But just remember, guys, you know, I know a lot of people like to go to the casino and gamble. And when you go to the casino and gamble and you don't know what you're doing, guys, sometimes you're going to lose it all. And, you know, look, I just implore you guys to kind of wait. We still have a few other things that are, you know, going to be hopefully coming up towards the end of the year. We still have the Clarity Act. We still have a lot of things that, you know, that still may save Bitcoin. So without any wasting more time, let's get into the rest of the video, guys, and let's cover what is going on in the crypto news today. All right, guys. So today we had over $600 million worth of crypto longs eradicated today, guys. You know, this is something that is happening a lot. You know, we have people going 20x leverage, 30x leverage, 100x leverage, and I guess these people are just not getting the memo that these people are getting wiped out. You know, I don't know how many times I have to say this even to my group. You know, guys, if you're using 20 to 30x leverage, these big whales and these guys that are having the most sophisticated tools, they can see this. These market makers have access to a lot of software and a lot of other tools that us retail guys don't have, and they use it to their ability to help wash out, you know, us traders. So, you know, look, it sucks, but let me tell you that, you know, look, I'm not, you know, saying, hey, leverage trading is the way to go. You know, we do leverage trade, by the way. Links will be in the description to BitNUX, PHEMEX, and Blowfin. But look, it's something that we don't personally push people on. If you want to do it, you can do it. If you don't, you don't. But you just got to make sure that you kind of watch and mitigate your own risk tolerance, guys. Also, what I was talking about earlier was about this new clarity bill, which is going to be slashing the manipulation hopefully by 70 to 90%, according to Marty Party. Make sure you guys give him a follow on X. This guy's the GOAT. Look, some of the things that this stuff has inside it, the bill was it's going to ban wash trading, fake volume. It's going to have CFTC get real-time surveillance, auto flags, order cancellation, spoofing, layering, ghost orders. Front running will be a felony, and the SEC to keep a kill switch on security tokens. And again, guys, the whole fake volume and stuff like that, wash trading has been a really big thing with Binance. Also, Wintermute. And I think that this is going to be really great for, hopefully getting people to stay in crypto a little bit longer. This constant, in and out, in and out, in and out has just been really crazy. I've been in the markets for a long time, and I've never seen it quite as bad as it is, right now. So, I'm hoping really that this would be a really good bullish, catalyst for us in the future. We still have also rate cuts for December. We're kind of dragging this out because, Jerome Powell is waiting on more data. If you guys don't know, the government's still shut down. We're approaching 35 days. Our longest in history will probably be shattered. I'm thinking that will probably be anywhere between 40 to 45 days. I am really confident, guys. And look, I'm nobody. I'm just a regular dude. I think we should be open before Thanksgiving. Also, Brian Armstrong says that we should have the clarity bill passed before Thanksgiving, so that would be huge. I'm still predicting a late December, maybe late November rally that would hopefully at least get us back to 4.25 trillion market cap. And then from there, guys, you can make the decision if you're going to get in or get out. From there to then, I don't know what's going to happen. We're going to go over some key levels with Bitcoin. And just remember, guys, everything that I say, it's not financial advice. Remember, I have to say this because they're going after a lot of YouTube channels right now. And I just got monetized, and I'm not trying to get flagged and stuff like that, guys. So please take everything that I say with, just caution, okay? Your boy is human. I'm going to make mistakes, okay? So real quick, let's go ahead and cover Bitcoin. So guys, look, today, and also, if you're in the Discords, guys, I did call this drop. We knew that we saw some funny stuff going on. We still had that rising wedge that was on Bitcoin, okay? And it played out. And if we're going on these longer time frames on the weeklies, we still are in it, guys. And look, bear market, we're looking anywhere between, I personally think 74,000 would be my bear market call. I don't want to start talking crazy until we get there, but I just want to let people know, like, look, this is the possibility, and we're just gonna wait until levels are broken. Are we close? Yes, we are, but I still believe that we have some saving grace, and we just need to kind of cross our fingers and pray to the man upstairs that things can get fixed in this country, and we can get this government open, and hopefully we can get tensions around the world to de-escalate. But right now, like I said, yeah, things don't look good. We have actually a falling wedge now on a few medium-term time frames, but right now we need to pay attention to this 1035. Okay, if we dip below there, we're likely going to go down to 98K. And remember, I've talked about this with you guys 1,000 times. You need to go look up your EMA ribbons and continue to remember to pay attention. Go to the weekly. If we close 2 weekly candles below this red line, it's a huge probability that the cycle's over with. Remember, guys, I've talked about this many times, over and over and over again. This is going to be your big indicator. But for me, guys, look, I'm going to be paying a little bit more attention when we start getting into this next line. I've even told my Discord over and over and over. Guys, if we start approaching a weekly candle And this middle line, I will be getting completely out of all my positions, and I'll buy back in on a breakout. I'm not interested in trying to time the market. You know, you can call me a stress basket or whatever you want to, these stupid YouTubers. You know, look, at the end of the day, you have to protect your money, because I'm telling you one thing, guys. Look, if you think for 1 second that anybody has this market figured out, I don't care what YouTuber you are, you don't. Nobody got this figured out. Right now, Trump is pretty much in charge of everything. You know, I know a lot of these crypto bros, and maybe you could even throw me in the basket with calling me a crypto bro too. You know, we may think that we have an edge on this market, but I'm gonna tell you something, guys. This dude controls the market. Indicators, TA, doesn't really matter. You know, we could even go down to 98K, maybe close a couple weeks, and hey, they might just turbocharge this thing back up. Who knows? But just remember, guys, the market giveth and the market taketh. And if you are completely out of the market right now, you know, I understand, but I just would always implore you guys to please wait until the signals have hit, and then you make your decision there. Like I said, I think it's a little bit more better to make the decision, you know, once we approach there versus just guessing. So, you know, that's my spill on it. You know, there's still a few really great altcoins that I can also type in right here with you guys while we're on here and go over it. Look, it's been no secret. One of these altcoins that's been really great has been Tau. Tau has been getting a lot of love from the Grayscale Trust. You know, right now they are on a weekly time frame, double bottom. You know, but I still, you know, I think I spoke to some of the guys over the weekend. Another call that I made over the Discord, guys, I did expect that we would be coming back down here to 450, and we got that bounce right there. So maybe we can get a push back up. We still have a few good targets on here. Maybe we can get back up here to 600, 650, and then maybe you guys could take profits or whatever and go from there. And then, guys, look, Solana's going to be another one. Solana, remember, guys, it's had a lot of good ETF inflows. It's right now in the golden ratio at 167. I've been telling you guys, look, this is the area that I'm looking for a bounce. As long as we stay in this golden ratio, guys, I will be DCAing all in Solana right there. Nothing's changed for me. Still loading up on that coin right there. And then we got good old Ethereum. You know, Ethereum is not, you know, not the best, not the worst. I truly don't want to see it go below 3,300. You know, we did break below this channel that we had in here. But guys, look, at the end of the day, you know, kind of going through everything that has been happening right now, Ethereum does look fairly better than a lot of altcoins out there. So like I said, until we break, you know, this 3,300, maybe even 3,400, I would be kind of still being cautious with ETH. And real quick, let's cover XRP real quick, and let's see how that one's going. Let's see, right now we are at 233, so not too bad. You know, look, you know, it's no lie, man. Solana, XRP, and Ethereum have been the altcoins that have been at least holding their own for somewhat. You know, look, had that nice bounce right there at the 220 area, and it's holding its own. You know, we still got these ETFs coming along, so those coins right there are going to be a little bit more bullish than a lot of these other ones. And you know, look, I get it. It's some of you guys may be scared, but just remember, guys, look, if the chance that we do go into a bear market, you know, just remember, guys, look, if you have dry powder and you have time on your hands, you should be embracing this. You know, but in my personal opinion, I do think that we do have one more leg up, you know, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, I just wanted to make a quick video for you guys. Remember, show some love to the channel. You know, I'm a newer channel. Any likes, comments, I do appreciate them. You know, and like I said, I'm always here looking at the comment sections. You know, I'm not the type of guy to go ghost. You know, I'm always active, going live all the time. But like I said, I've said this over and over and over and over and over again. I'm never going to, you know, overdo it. So just remember, guys, we got to stick together. You guys are more than welcome to always join the KGU or join Crypto Plebs. Links are always in the description. You guys stay blessed. Holler at your boy. Jumpman Crypto is out like a scout.